Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the Conversation Hub. Today, we have brought you a very important guest, an amiable lady, a lady of substance by all standards. She is a princess from Igogo, Ekiti in Ekiti State. She's a professor of English language. And for over 3 decades, she has been teaching phonetics and phonology in the Department of English, Faculty of Arts, University of Ibadan. I have a privilege to unveil my guest, Professor Adenike Akinjobi. Prof, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I can see you are looking great.
Thank you.
I can see everything. I don't know what they call this. Is it gilly or what they call it?
It's
gilly.
Yes.
It is wonderful. You are looking great.
Thank you.
And may I say this? Professor Akinjobi has just celebrated her 60th birthday. Prof, happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
My first question to you. Turning 60 is a milestone. How do you feel about this new phase of life?
I feel good. I feel grateful to God. I feel great. I feel honored by God because it's a privilege to make certain, at least to go this far is a privilege. A lot of people had gone. It's not because we mock them. It's just because we want to thank God. So I just want to say I appreciate God for giving me the opportunity to see today.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe you may not even, we may not have that privilege to live this long?
Yeah, at some point in life. At some point in life, at a particular time in life, I'd prayed to be 50. Yes.
And what happened?
That, because of circumstances, because of the way I felt, and at least if I can make it up to 50, I'll be happy. You understand? Okay. But then I thank God I'm here, and I still intend to be here for a little while more.
We thank God for that.
Yes.
Maybe I should go a bit deeper. How can you briefly discuss your childhood, early years, and dreams while growing up?
Okay, I grew up to know myself as a princess from Igogo, Ekiti. My father was at Noba for 54 years.
Okay.
He almost clocked 55 before he died. And I grew up to see myself as a child that I never really had the opportunity to be a child per se.
Okay.
Because at age 9, I was in the secondary school. At 14, I was out of secondary school. At 14, I was teaching in a primary school.
Wow.
At 15, I was teaching in a secondary school.
Wow.
So, in a way, I as a child, I'll say I have been very focused. I didn't know where that inspiration came from. But I was always imagining myself in places that were not even like where I was growing up. So, in a way, I think my childhood was filled with dreams.
Okay.
Dreams of what I want to be in life. Okay. I would listen to broadcasts. I would record broadcasts. I would recast broadcasts as a child. Because I felt I was going to grow up to be a broadcaster. And a lot of things, I was too serious a child as I was growing up. I had the privilege to understand life as a race, even as a child.
That means that you are a palace girl. You lived in the palace with your dad.
Yes, I lived in the palace with my father.
Can you describe what it means to live in the palace, the setting?
Well, the setting, beautiful setting, many wives, of course. Every festival is our festival. So always in the palace, there were festivities. When the traditional worshippers are having their festivals, we are involved. When the Christians are having their festival, we're involved, the Muslims were involved. And so it was a beautiful place to grow up and then to understand the culture of the people. And I thank God till today, I think I'll say I'm still sort of enmeshed with the culture of where I grew up. Like respect elders. respect people, be kind to people, listen to people. Those were things that you naturally learn in the palace, because your father will be in court judging cases.
Okay.
And you'll be there, you witness a lot of things. It also helps your intelligence. It helps you to know more about life. And so these were all the things that I could say I gained from the palace. Then living with people, understanding people. Because in the palace, there was no way you could sleep alone in a room. There must always be 2, 3, or 4 people sleeping in a room. You can't have the privilege of being alone in a room. So in a way, you learn to understand people.
Okay.
You learn to tolerate people.
Tolerate people.
Yes.
Wow, that is great. And so it is very easy for you now to accommodate, have people around you. Is it possible for you to, can you live without people around you?
No, I can't. Because I didn't grow up in that kind of environment. I love to see people around me. I love to relate with people. And I love to indulge, in quote, people. So it's one of the things that I got from growing up in the palace. You have to learn to indulge people, because you're going to come across different kinds of people. And you have to learn to tolerate them. And so that's where the indulgence comes in. So you don't fight with people. Even when you are done with them, you are still sort of a little committed to them.
What role has family played in your success and personal growth?
I would say family has played substantial role. My father was a committed father. He loved me. He had many children, but I can say with confidence that he really loved me. He was proud of me, even as a child. So in a way, he encouraged me all the time. When I do well in school, he would buy things for me. He was committed, as a father. And within his limits, he was able to do what he could do. My mother influenced my life.
Okay.
My mother taught me to be strong for myself. As a child, my mother would tell you, she would say, open your hands and say, so in a way, I grew up with that mind that.
So can you explain
ò ní kankan tó jẹ́ bí ìdojúkọ tó lágbára jù.
You are hardworking. Yes, you don't rely on anybody.
You don't rely.
Yes.
You don't wait to be given. You work hard. And so every opportunity you have, you must make use of it to your advantage. So, and she was living that life too.
That's a very good one.
She was a teacher. Even as a teacher, she will still do business. She will still do that. So in a way, we all grew up
to be industrious.
To be industrious, especially, the women among us. Businesses. Because though some are in business, I'm not in business, but in my own field, I try my best to. So she taught us to put in our best in life. And that's exactly, that's family for you. And then growing up in an extended family, I grew up with I have a sister. No, not yet. I have a sister who is my half-sister, but they call us the Onigogo twins.
Okay.
Because they used to call us that because we were inseparable. So till today, she's still my best friend.
What's her name?
So that's part of Doyin.
Okay.
Doyin Oluwadikpe now. Okay. She was Doyin Bamiteko.
Okay.
So we grew up together and nobody could separate us. Our mothers had to be friends because of us. They became very good friends. My father would take us to places to showcase us to people. And so in a way, that's family. Until tomorrow, we're still very close. And so many other people in my family. Then in the palace family, because my mother is also from somewhere, and I also have family from that end too.
Okay. Where is she from?
She's from Ikoro Ekiti.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Ikoro Ekiti is still in Ekiti. Yes. And so in a way, family. There's no way you can run away from family influence. Family would. Like for me, there's a late Mrs. Adeyeri, who was a woman that she was my mom's cousin. Okay. And they were always, she would come to Igogo to take me to Lagos to spend holidays with her. and I'll see her environment. I love the way she was living. I was captivated by her way of life. And in a way, it started giving me ideas about some of the things I really want in life. I saw that life was beyond what we had in a palace. So I have people like that around me. Their family that really influenced me. You understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I like that. As a follow-up, maybe I should ask this. How have your relationships, your relationship with family, your relationship with friends, colleagues, how have they shaped your journey?
Like they've shaped my journey in good ways. Because I have people I want to be like, and I have people I don't want to be like. That's the way I live my life. I look at people, the people I want to get to be like. I'll give an example. There's Mrs. Dupe Fasomi. She's my mom's, they are cousins, but I'll call her my mom's sister. She's like another mother to me. And when I was growing up, each time I was in Ikoro to spend holidays, she would be there. She would give me little things like earrings and stuff like that. And I so love those things. I love that way of life. I love the way she spoke. She still speaks, very amiable, very quiet, very easygoing. And in a way, I started following a path. You know, she has listening ears. She's very respectful. And she has a lot of things that I loved. Until tomorrow, she's still my mentor. That's family. Yes.
You know, you're very beautiful. Why growing up? Why growing up? Hope those guys did not really disturb you.
No.
Can you just shed light to?
Well, nobody.
Before you met the main man.
Of course, it's normal for every woman to meet different kinds of men along as you're growing up. And especially if you have that kind of bright nature. So wherever you go to, you sort of stand out. And people tend to see you. And of course, you know, the attraction will come from males and stuff like that. So I have a lot of them who are my friends today.
Especially black people like us.
Yes. Many of those people are actually my friend today. You know, we're still talking, we're still friends. So in a way, you meet men, but it's not every man you come across that will have an opportunity to be with you. But then it does not mean that you can't be friends. So in a way, I had enough attention, I would say. But then I think for many men, I was too serious. Honestly.
Akada?
Yeah, yes. I was, because I knew that was the only way out for me. That was the only way out for me. And so I never joked with that. Yes.
All right. Who are the biggest influences in your life? And how did they also shape your life, your journey?
Well, I'm going to be talking about my mentors now. I'll talk about Professor Amayo, for instance. Professor Amayo, late Professor Amayo, was my teacher here in the phonology. He was the phonetician phonologist in the department. And he saw my interest.
At the University of Ibadan.
In University of Ibadan here. He saw my interest in that field and he took interest in my case. And he was always interested in knowing how well I was doing. I almost dropped out of school, out of the master's class after the first semester. Yes, because I had a problem, which I want not to divulge here. And I couldn't cope with sponsoring the program anymore. I was teaching at the College of Education, Abeokuta. I couldn't cope any longer, so I stopped coming. And there was no phone. But he sent someone from Ibadan to look for me. That I have to come and see him. Then I came and I broke down in his office and I was crying and he told me, no matter what you're passing through, you must finish it because you're the best student in my class. So you must come back. So I came back to complete the master's program and eventually he was actually the one who brought me to UI. I didn't even apply to UI. Yes, the man, may the Lord bless his soul, may he rest in peace.
Amen.
He was dying. And he knew he was terminally ill. And he told them at the department that I know the person to replace me. Yes. And then the department sent someone to me to bring me to Ibadan for an interview, which was arranged within 2 days. And I went for the interview. Some other people came too. And I think I did well. And even before I got to my place of work, the news was already there. That's why the fact that there was no phone that, a lady came and did well and stuff. Because I even told him, I said, I just had a baby that I don't think I would do well in. He said, no, just go there and taste them. And he was... And, the man
first baby or
my first baby.
Oh, okay.
And he had the brightest laughter in that hall, in that room where the interview was conducted. For a man who was terminally ill, till tomorrow, that laughter still rings in my mind.
Yeah.
He joked, he was joking, he was so happy, and that was how I came to UI. And I remember we also met once at a conference, and he took me around Professor Banjo, Professor Ayobanjo, Professor Ayobangboshe, late Professor Jowit, and he was telling them, look at this lady very well because you know her son. So he prophesied into my life.
And it came to pass.
It came to pass. And each time I remember him, my soul blesses his spirit wherever he is today. Yes. So that's one person. And of course, I won't forget Professor Eguare, who rescued me when my PhD, there was nobody to supervise my PhD in my department. There was no phonetician, phonologist.
In English? In the Department of English?
Department of English. Okay. Because Amayo, late Amayo went to rest.
Okay.
And
that would have been your supervisor?
He was my supervisor. So
at the master's class?
Yes, it was my supervisor even for the PhD.
Okay.
And so, but unfortunately, he died. And the PG school gave me, somebody who is ill, you can't be taking your work to him. So it was exhausted. And then the time for my program got exhausted. And the PG school told me, you have to either finish within 6 months or it's terminated. So I chose to start all over again. So that was how I ended up at the linguistics department. So that was how Professor Eguare came in. And he was very supportive, because that was about the time I lost my husband, and he was very supportive. He would take my children, his family. Dr. Yinka Eguare would take. They would take my children and take care of them for me. And he would, when people come to tell me, madam, sorry, we had what happened to you, he would say, please leave this woman alone. Let her do her work. And I finished to time.
When was that? When did you lose? Did you lose your husband?
That was 2001. Yes. So I completed the program in 2004. So till tomorrow, I don't think I will ever think about a mentor, and it won't come to my mind. Fantastic mentor. He will, instead of taking anything from you, he will give things to you. So he was that kind of person, and he trained me to be who I am today. So that's another person I won't forget. That's talking about work. And I have a lot of them too. My department, Professor Yeleye, Professor Niyo Shundari, who encouraged me in my creative writing.
The poet.
Yes, he was always interested in my creative writing. He would take my drama texts and read them and give me encouragement and say, Nike, you write very well. I like the characters you create and stuff like that. And Professor Remiraji is my uncle in the department. I have a lot of them in the department. All of them they are my people, and I look up to them too.
You just talked about your challenge. That you had a challenge during your PhD. Did it have any effect on your program? Maybe by extending the years that you ought to have spent.
Okay, completing my PhD.
Completing your PhD.
Okay, because I lost my husband.
Yes, you lost your husband, yes. And there were all the challenges here, and the associated challenges.
Yeah, associated challenges. Yes, there were. Yeah. But I was determined to complete my PhD.
So you finished in record time?
Record time.
Wow.
In fact, I finished when they had to find out at the PG school why I finished that early.
Oh.
Yes. Because I converted all the time I should have been money to working.
Yeah. So you concentrated on your...
I worked too hard in 2001. In 2001, I think I completed 4 chapters of my PhD. The same year, I completed 4 of the 6 chapters. In 2001, I was able to publish, I think, 2 papers. I carried out 2 studies, and I was able to publish, I think, 1 creative writing that year.
Yeah, this should be a lesson to, students these days. You see them, giving excuses and, the excuses that are not actually tenable. And at the end of the day, they spend more years, instead of spending 3 years, you see some 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. But with your with your challenges, because I wouldn't say with your challenges, you were still able to finish in record time. That is laudable.
Yeah,
that's laudable.
Yes, I would like to talk about what you just said. It's not as if those excuses are untenable.
Okay.
But in academics,
okay,
no excuse. It's either you are doing it or you're not doing it. If somebody dies, people will sympathize with you. It doesn't mean they are going to do. When I came back after my late husband was buried, they took my lectures. Some people were helping with lectures. Some were helping to grade and stuff. And I went to my children and I asked him, when it's time to promote me, will you help me too? He was staring at me, and some of them stood there with misty eyes. They were almost crying. And I told them, let me start teaching. The first day I taught at the faculty, people were pretending to walk by. They wanted to know, is that because of the circumstances of his death? Because it was in the news and people knew about it. Okay. So everybody knew me. People who didn't know me now started asking, who is that woman? Yeah. That the husband's death was reported in the newspapers. Okay. So in a way, they were all parading and pretending to walk by to know if I was still sane, teaching even with the thing that happened to me. But I started teaching. And I tell my students, because it's not as if challenges should not keep you grounded, but you must not allow it.
You must not
yes,
allow
there was
it.
a case of a girl whose father died, 400 level, and then she was brought to me by 3 people. Some students were following her around to talk to lecturers. Her father just died so that they can help her. I said they should step out. I closed the door. I sat her down. I told her my story. And I said, nobody can help you as much as you can help yourself. I said, because people will help you and give you 45. Yes, they'll give you 45. It's not 60. It's not 70. And your father will not be proud of you.
Just go.
Yes, I said, go and manage to read very well for your exam. And stop going around, because you will leave here with a result that is not going to be presentable. And how many people will you explain to that? Oh, I have this kind of result because my father died. So she was very happy. She wept in my office. I wept with her. I cleaned her face, and then she left. And she kept in touch with me even after she left UI. So I think the point is, whether you give all the excuses in the world or not, your PhD will not write itself. Your project will not write itself. It will not, no lecturer will help you write your exam. So you need to just be strong. In fact, about life, are we not supposed to just be strong for ourselves? That's what I think. Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, looking back, did you ever imagine you would have been where you are today?
I've always been focused. I've always wanted to succeed in life. Though at particular points in life, I had some, I won't call them distractions, because they also helped me in life. Because I was into, like I said, I was into creative writing. And at a point in time, I had a drama troupe. And my first play was on television in 1990.
You were acting?
I wrote the play. I directed the play. You understand? It was on NTA Abeokuta in 1990. It was actually used to celebrate the Independence Day.
Okay.
So at a particular point, I was very close to being in the film industry. You understand? But somehow something will always push me back to academics. And so somehow at a particular point, I started managing. And so I went into documentary making, academic film making, and all those little things that won't take much of my time. So, but if it's about where I am today, the moment I joined academics, I knew I was going to be a professor. I only needed God to confirm it. And
God confirmed it.
He did,
We thank God.
Yes.
You've mentioned, you mentioned that you have written some creative works, creative books.
Yes.
You've written up to how many?
I think I have about, right now I have about 3. I have one that is complete but not published yet.
Okay.
Yes. So I have Family Secrets, which was runner-up winner of the Anna NDC Award in 2005. Yes, I have Rags to Riches. That book has been used by so many people. So many of them are big people now that are used by Rags to Riches in Lagos, in Dogun, because it was on the GSS, GSS class.
Okay, in schools.
In schools.
Okay.
Yes, in schools.
Okay.
Then I have Mirage. I have Mirage, which is also has been used in many universities to teach teach general English. And then the one that I'm about to publish now is Naked Dance.
Naked Dance.
Yes.
So somebody is going to be naked and dancing?
Well, you will see. When it's out, you will know.
What about books on phonetics and phonology?
Yes, I have published. When it comes to publications,
I'm
I have
talking
many.
about books.
But
I know,
yes. Yes, I have a book spoken English on spoken English.
Okay.
That's on pronunciation. I have 2 books right now that is almost ready on phonetics and phonology.
Okay.
Those are like academic texts on phonetics and phonology. But I have one academic text on spoken English, and I have that ready now. It's about. In fact, actually, it was supposed to be part of this celebration, my 60th birthday. But then at a point I knew that because I was trying to bring about 4,
very interesting.
I was going to produce about 4 books together. So I ended up not finishing them. I'm still going to launch the 4 this year.
Oh, okay.
By God's grace.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. God is on the throne.
Yes, sure.
Is there any of these books, this English book, books on phonetics and phonology that is being used in schools too?
In
secondary school?
No, my spoken English is out there.
Okay.
It's used
in
some places.
Okay.
Yes, then I have, I have a set of, I write for children a lot. I have over 20 publications.
And you're not in literature, you're in language.
I have over 20 publications for children.
Maybe you ought to have gone to literature.
Well, I've always been astride in a way because, creativity is a natural thing. I have people in medicine who are creative writers. Yes, so I write for children. I have books like phonics. My phonics and prosody is for the primary school.
Okay.
So I have about 5 books. It's a set of books, and I have my storybooks for children. And I'm still working on more storybooks. I'm actually about to start a project now that is going to be like children writing for children. I want to go around some schools, make children write for children. Yes, they will write their own stories, and so we'll publish that and see how it goes. Our children will take other children's stories.
I'm actually waiting.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that. You mentioned the death of your husband. Let me go back to some challenges that you have faced. Of course, it's one of the challenges that you have faced in life. Can you just expatiate on some challenges that you have faced?
Well, that can take the whole of 2 days.
Maybe we make it brief.
So we make it brief. Well, it's challenging because I had 2 young...
Because people out there, they will learn from whatever you say.
When he died, well, the first challenge was, he was my best friend. Some people will say it when their husbands die, oh, he was my best friend. But this one was my best friend.
Bestie.
In fact, before we even started dating, we were friends for 2 years.
Okay.
2 years that we never knew we were ever going to get married.
Where did you meet?
We met at Oshiele, Abeokuta.
Okay.
So we were close. He understood me, I understood him. And we were practically inseparable. And so when we got married, when we got married, we were not the typical couple.
Okay.
We were friends. Just like, we were friends. So we were not the typical couple. So in a way, I lost my best friend. I lost my best friend. I lost a great man because he was a very responsible man. Men would die and people would say, oh, he's responsible. They say, oh, when they die, they become but people who knew him will confirm how responsible he was. Very responsible, very clean, very, So in a way, I lost something that was really costly. Honestly. Invaluable. And then we had 2 children. They were young. They were 2 and 4. And so there was a challenge of carrying on being a single parent, with my job. You understand? But in a way, I was able to work around that. And I also got support. Family will come in here too. Some family members. I have people who are even distant relations, some of them who were really very useful to me at that point in life. But I will tell you that that's one major challenge. And at a particular time, I discovered that even like coming home was a problem, being out was a problem, you know, because I'm a very homely person. I can be in this house for 1 year and I won't miss being out there. And so in a way, that had to stop because coming home became a kind of problem. So sometimes I'll put my children in the car and we'll drive around this university. We'll just be driving around, just trying to avoid
boredom,
going home.
Okay.
So it was like that. But in a way, along the line, my children started to grow. And I found very good friends in them. And I will say today, they're my best friends. So in a way, they've
replaced their father.
Yes, when it comes to when I need pieces of advice, there's nothing I can't ask my children. They are there for you. I will call them. We have no secrets. I will tell them, this is what I want you to talk to me about. So in a way, the challenges were not, they were much, but in a way, the Lord helped me to surmount them. Yeah.
Please, I still want you to speak to, what it takes to be a single parent because you raised them alone.
The first challenge was how close he was to all of us.
Yes.
So how you first make them. So when I was even supposed to be money, I was more worried about my children. So that's because I knew they were very close to him, especially my first son. So in a way, I was very worried about that. So then there are particular times in life when you need to take some decisions and you need to ask somebody, I want to do this. That's why we have two parents, so that the two of you can decide, you can talk to each other. That was not an opportunity. It was not an opportunity I had. So I was taking a lot of decisions by myself. So those were challenges. But the Lord blessed me with good children. I must tell you, with good children, I always tell people, even when I go to look for them in school, when other children are all over the field and their parents are looking around for them, my children will be where I can find them.
Wow.
Yeah. So in a way, or where I could find them. So in a way, I think the Lord helped me to be a good parent.
You must be very young when you lost your husband.
Yeah.
And you never thought of remarrying.
Well, you can't be if you have two kids with you and you are on the kind of job academics, you will have to take. It's going to be a very tough decision for you to take. To decide you want to remarry. One, I didn't want anybody to come between my children and I. That was number one because I knew there was no way you will allow someone and then they will not come between you and your children. So in a way, I want to face that alone. I don't want anybody to remind me I helped you to train your children. So in a way, I didn't want that. Another one again is that the job itself is demanding. So the kind of job we do here, if you're focused on getting to get to the pinnacle of your career, it's going to be tough for you to take that decision. Especially because, it's not a decision of like a single man married a single woman now. It's going to be a woman with 2 children. And marrying another man who probably would have his own children too. And then you are struggling to live that.
Not even have.
So I couldn't cope with that.
Before we leave that, can you just advise women, who have found themselves in your shoe or who may find themselves in your shoe, can you just advise them?
On what to do?
Yes, on what to do, yes.
Honestly, I think I would just tell them to try their best. Be focused. I think the distraction, the worst thing that I think can happen to a woman who is a widow or who is a divorcee with children is for the children not to turn out well.
Okay.
That's the worst thing. It's a life of regrets. So in a way, I think you must make sure that the greater part of your focus is on your children. That's the first piece of advice I want for them. You think less of yourself. Because if you're going to think about yourself, then you may need to take some decisions. And that's at the point at which people go to drop their children with their
the detriment of the children.
They take their children to give to relations. Take their children to give to how do I call it? The relations of the late father. Because it gives you more time. But in a way, I think if you really love yourself and you want to be proud of yourself, I think you should focus more on the development of your children and on being able to take care of yourself. Because people abuse that position a lot. Men abuse that position, especially when you are not, how do I call it now, financially stable. A woman who is a single parent, who is not financially stable, is just going to be all over the place.
At the mercy of people.
At the mercy, yeah. You'll be all over the place. You beg people. You will be victimized. Some people you'll be open to a lot of abuses.
As a victim.
Yes. But if you work hard and you can take care of yourself and you don't look at, because there's some things you don't look at as a single parent. You don't want to be like other people out there. You want to be a party goer. You want to wear the best dresses. You want to wear the best shoes. You are competing with people who are not competing with you. You will have a problem. Face your life, because one day you will open your wardrobe and you will know the last time you wore some clothes. But there will be a time when you will open your wardrobe and you'll be wondering, should I wear this again? I wore it last Monday. You understand?
I do.
So these are part of it.
Yeah. What are some of the achievements you are most proud of in your career and in your personal life?
Yes, in my career, I think one, that I am a professor today. I'm very proud. I'm at the peak of my career. There's no, beyond being a professor, the professor is the ceiling here. I mean, professionally, you could be any other thing. But the first thing is you made it as a professor. And so I'm very proud. I'm very happy that I made the position of professor. That's one thing I'm proud of. I didn't have the opportunity to go to many places, but I've been to a few places across the world. And one of the places I've been to that I'm very proud to have been to is Harvard. That's Harvard University.
In the United States of America.
In Cambridge, Massachusetts. Because I was not taken there. I applied as a visiting scholar.
And on merit.
On merit, I was asked to come. I was at the Department of Linguistics there for about 4 months. And that was where I learned more about speech acoustics. And in a way, it's still, a lot of things that I learned there still affects me because I audited a lot of courses there. And so even when I deal with my master's students, I'm still with that mentality. I came back really sharper than I was. So I think it's one place I also love that I was. So it's one of the achievements I think I've had on my career that I think I'm proud of.
Personally,
I'm proud of my children. I'm proud that the Lord helped them to be who they are today. I'm proud of where they are. And I'm proud of the plan the Lord has for them, where they're going. So I'm proud of that. Personally, I think relatively I'm proud of myself.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes, personally, I'm proud of myself because I think the Lord strengthened me to achieve relatively. I'm not the best achiever in life, but I think I've left some footprints on the sand of time in my field. I've opened up new areas of research. Even my PhD, I opened up a totally new area of research in phonology in my PhD. And subsequently, I've always tried to look for areas that I think are relatively places where I can make an impact. So in a way, I think I'm also proud of myself.
I'm also proud of myself too.
Thank you.
All right. this is going to be on a sober reflection.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Was there any moment when you felt like giving up? And what kept you going?
Many moments. Yes, many moments I felt like giving up. Many. Many because I told you I lost my best friend. He was my husband. I got married at 31. I lost my husband at 36. So
31?
Yeah.
That should be about 4 or 5 years?
Yes. So
what happened? Accident?
It was an accident.
Oh.
Giving up. So in a way, at that point, I would have given up, but for my children. Because I didn't want my children to suffer. I didn't want my children to be at the mercy of people. I knew it was tough because I was just starting a career. The salary wasn't fantastic, things weren't fantastic, but I knew if I was here, that they'll stand the better chance of being okay than if I'd left. It was a time I knew that people could actually mourn to death. You could mourn to death. Yeah. So I've seen people who had mourned to death. Yes. So, but each time I remember them, I was always strong for myself. I struggled to be strong at that point. Then at some points in the career too, in the job, on this job, you feel like giving up.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, because the treatment, because most times the status will not go hand in hand with the kind of things you get.
Like pay.
The job. Okay. Yes. So, and the job will not give you the opportunity to do other things if you are committed. People on this job who can do other things are people who are not very committed. If you are the kind of person that is committed, you will not have the time to do any extra thing. So at some point, I tried to leave. But in a way, I never had the strength to go. It keeps pulling me back to itself.
The love for the
profession.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then at particular points, you get really tired. There are times in life. I tell people, if you're talking about depression, you're talking about this, you're talking about that. I think people like us that have gone through a lot that we didn't even diagnose. Honestly. But in a way, today I am down, tomorrow I'm up. I give myself that courage. Nike, stand up. Keep going. You can't stop there. And so in a way, I think I've had a lot of moments like that. But I'm always a winner.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we thank God. Any regret in life, or what do you think that you would have done differently?
In life, honestly, nothing. Nothing, but I would have just felt a little better if my job was more rewarding.
Okay.
Because I'm a committed person to this job. I love mentoring students. I love teaching. I love research. I love all this. But in a way, the reward is not commendable. So if I had an opportunity, I would say treat academics better.
They're talking to
in
the
Nigeria. Yes, treat academics better in Nigeria so that you can get the best from people.
Well, I heard that you are handing up to 1 million, 2 million.
Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe in some people's dream. In some people's dream. So, you know it yourself. It's not true. So, but in some people's dream, maybe. Because some people will talk to me at times, I will just laugh. Even the way people come to you when they need help.
So much, yeah.
Hey,
yeah, you should be able to cover
this professor is like the way Yorubas will say, So, in a way, you can, if the profession can be more rewarded, I'll be happier.
And I'm sure that is why we have a lot of brain drain. People.
Yes. That's why a lot of people. You have people leaving. You have people even going to other jobs. Honestly, because if you leave now for another job, you can be sure of what you earn there. So that is one.
How do you balance, your personal and professional life? How do you balance the two?
I'll tell you, honestly, I tilt more towards my professional life. I work too hard. Honestly. I won't advise anybody to work the way I work.
Okay.
Because I hardly have the time to rest.
For yourself.
I hardly have the time to recreate. I'm not a very the ideal sociable person who is out there at parties or doing this and that. I'm usually at home.
But don't you think you need that now?
Yes, I need it. I know. And that's why I'm telling people that even if I have mentees who look up to me, and I tell them, don't be absolutely like me. You find time to recreate, find time to take care of yourself, take care of your health, focus on yourself. Don't be selfless. Don't be too selfless. Let me put two there. Because when you're selfless, you are sick, you are ill. I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, it's like I would die in this house. And then, yes, I was very sick. But then my students needed to submit their projects. And they kept the project for too long. They didn't submit at the right time. But then, ordinarily, I should look away and say, I've tried my best.
But you couldn't.
If you can't go with them. But no, I'll be angry with them on the phone the next minute I'm calling them. And I'm asking them to come over. So in a way.
You're not just a teacher, you're a mother.
Yeah, I just want to be a mother to my students. And in a way that takes a lot from you. So I think I also want to advise people to take care of themselves more. If you don't want to break down irreparably, because people actually break down irreparably.
Can you just mention some of the, because you talked about mentees now. Can you just mention some of your mentees that you're so proud of? I
have many of them. I hope I won't offend people now. Yes, because I'm going to be mentioning some of my mentees. At least I know that I'll start with my PhD students. Unfortunately, I lost my first PhD student. Yes, I have Rotimi Oladipupo, who is an associate professor now at Redeemers. I have Dr. Akindele, who is an associate professor at Osun State University. But I'm waiting to hear the announcement of their chair anytime from now. I have about 13 PhDs. I think I have 14 PhDs now. And they are all in different universities, and they're doing well. And I'm proud of them. And then there's even some of our professors here in UI. I taught them even at 200 level, from 200 level upward. So in a way, I can also refer to them as my mentees. Demola Louis just just became a professor. He was announced professor about a month ago. I think like a month ago. He's there. And I have so many of them too. There are lots of them there. They are doing well, and when I see them, when I see what they have achieved, I feel really happy that I've been part of their lives. Yes.
So can you tell us about your hobbies?
My hobbies, I dance. I dance a lot.
Very well.
Go and look for me on TikTok. Just look for Prof Jobi on TikTok. I'm there. I dance a lot. I dance. I love Obe. I love the oldies actually. So sometimes it can even be Akbala. But most of the time, Obe. Ebenezer Obe.
Orlando
Owo.
King Sunny Ade.
Orlando Owo, capital. Sunny Ade and the lot of them. I love to dance. I dance a lot because I love exercising. It's one of the things that helped me in life. Because if you have a lifestyle that makes you sit at a place most of the time, you need to find a way to exercise. So I take my walk, and when I come back, I dance. And when I'm walking, I leave the walk when I know I'm tired and I need to take some, ergonometric stuff. I think about what the kind of injury I might be causing myself. I stand up, I set up my ring light, and I dance. So I dance. I used to play table tennis a lot. I was very good at it, yes. But for quite a while now, I've not been playing it. But it's a thing I'm planning to bring back to my life. So I used to do that, and I love reading. I love reading. I watch movies. That's another thing that I do a lot. When I want to relax, I watch movies. We are subscribed to Netflix in the house. I watch Netflix. I watch movies. I just love doing those little bits of things around the house. Because I'm not really a party person per se. So I can't say, I love going to parties. Even when I go to parties, I feel tired. I feel exhausted. Yes.
If you could go back and give advice to your younger self, what would you say?
I would say, it will be funny to you, but I would say, don't take life too seriously.
Okay. How do you mean?
Because all my life as a child, I never was a child. As a child, I knew, I was blessed to know a lot of things, as if I was a prophetess that could see the future. I was blessed to know that I needed to do this, to achieve this. I needed to move. I needed to be serious. I needed to read. I needed to be, I was always a very serious person. So it's good to take life seriously, but not the whole of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only piece of advice I have for myself.
What are some of the most important lessons you have learned over the years? Lessons. Well, humans will teach you lessons. I've met a lot of people. I've met grateful people. I've met ungrateful people in life. So, but I think both will bring you good lessons. The grateful ones will give you the lessons that when you sow, you reap. The ungrateful ones will bring you the lessons that not everything you sow that you reap from. So everything is about lessons. It may even be used against you.
Yes. So everything is about lessons, and I love the lessons I've learned about life. Yes.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would you want it to be?
I'd love to be remembered by how well my children must have done. The big achievements they must have had in life. I would love to be remembered by that. Followed by my mentees. All the people I've had contact with, my old students, my PhD students, my master students. I want to be remembered by the great things that they are able to achieve in life, outstanding things that they are all able to achieve in life. I would like to be remembered by that.
Now, I think we can digress a bit, and I want us to look at your career, the English language, and your teaching career. Let me ask this. What do you have to say regarding the advancements in technology, such as AI, speech recognition, influencing the way phonetics and phonology are taught today?
I think technology has really helped us because, one, let's even start with access to materials.
Okay.
Access. When people like us when we were on our master's program and the PhD, we were using just hard copies of books, and we didn't have access to the good materials. I mean, the best materials.
They were not available.
The latest material. Yes. For instance, like I needed to do to use a speech laboratory. I needed to use a speech laboratory, and my supervisor advised me to travel to the East, where I could find just one lecturer with the kind of equipment that could do the speech, analysis for me. So but I was lucky. Eventually, Dr. Tunde Adegbola is the name I should also mention. Tunde Adegbola,
I'm trying to remember.
Yes, he's an engineer, a Yoruba technology a person. He made the Yoruba keyboard.
Okay.
So
he's a very notable person.
Yes, he's notable. So he was very supportive, and until I did that. So you can see, technology made things easier for us. Now you can direct your students to go online to look for some things that ordinarily they wouldn't have had access to. And even in the teaching of speech, you can actually help your students connect with first language users. You can send them to a website where they can have access to sounds produced by first language users, not sounds that second language users struggle to teach them. We are all second language users. And no matter how much you must have worked on yourself, you are still a second language user. Okay. And so it has helped us.
You can't be as good as...
Yes, it has helped relatively to solve the problem of modeling.
Okay.
So because we can now use technology to model speech, so which is really fantastic. And then AI is good in generating materials and stuff, but I have always told people, engage your AI. Okay. Engage AI. Don't just take everything hook, line, and sinker.
Sinker.
Because the problem with AI is there are times it might bring to you the wrong thing.
Okay.
If you don't know about it, I tell my students, if you use AI as a student, you have a tendency to be wrong. Because when it generates that thing, those things for you, you can't query it. But with me, when I type something when I ask for something from AI, I engage it.
Okay.
I tell AI, recently I published something on Facebook.
Okay.
My conversation with AI, specifically with Meta AI.
Okay.
You understand? Where I asked questions and the answers were wrong. And I said, no, your answers are wrong. And he kept modifying it. And somebody who is a technologist told me, you are doing the right thing.
Okay.
Keep helping it. You will see at a particular point, he said, you can go back now and ask that question.
Okay.
2 days after I asked the same question and he got the right answer. So which implies that it keeps developing.
Okay.
But if you are not careful, you will be on the wrong side of this thing. And then another thing again, for people like us in the humanities, we also need to continue to engage our intellect. We need to continue to engage our minds. We can't totally
rely on AI.
Yes, because we are supposed to be the powerhouse of thoughts. AI is not supposed to think for you. So you should know the midway between technology and whatever you're doing.
There must be boundaries.
Yes, there must be boundaries. Yes.
So how do you feel the impact of indigenous language on spoken English in Nigeria?
Indigenous languages, a lot of impact, Of course, that's why we have Nigerian English. In fact, that's why we have the new Englishes.
Okay.
In countries where English is not a first language,
we
have the new Englishes. And there's the Nigerian English, which is a variety of the new Englishes.
Okay.
And there's also Yoruba English, Igbo English, Hausa English, Ibibio English, Efik English. As many languages as we have in Nigeria, we have
different
types of influences coming into the use of English. So it really impacts the use of English. And before, all these things were called interference. They were called errors. Today, we don't call them errors anymore. Once they are consistent, we call them variation.
Okay.
It's variation. And so we cannot say, there's no way we can avoid the impact of the native or the indigenous languages on the English language.
If we say Nigerian English, Yoruba English, Igbo English, do you think that they are standard?
No, Nigerian English is English as spoken in Nigeria. There's Yoruba English with its peculiarities, its local colors.
Okay.
So the ones we will assume to be Nigerian English are those things that are common to all of them.
Okay.
Most Nigerians can't produce the sound f and the. And so you hear the book instead of the book. So those will take that as Nigerian English.
Okay.
And then there are local colors.
Okay.
Local colors like Yoruba saying, I'm going to the zoo. For zoo. You understand? Local colors like Hausas saying something like producing per where they're supposed to produce fur.
Okay.
Local colors like vowel harmony in Igbo, where an English word is produced with the vowels harmonizing in different segments in Igbo, which is typically an Igbo language feature.
Okay.
So these are all the things we call the local colors that will make Yoruba English a sub-variety of Nigerian English.
Oh, okay.
Igbo English is sub-variety.
Of Nigerian.
Fake English is sub-variety. Ibibio English is sub-variety. And all the other Englishes.
How do we place Pidgin English?
Pidgin English is not English anymore. They call it Niger now.
Okay.
Pidgin is pidgin. It's a language on its own now. It's been the latest development about pidgin is not viewing it as a sub-variety of English at all.
Oh.
It's no longer considered as English.
It is standing on its own.
It's standing on its own as a language now. And the latest name is, my Professor Ebuare is somebody working very diligently in that area, and it's called Niger.
So it is wrong to now say Pidgin English.
Yes, I won't say wrong. There's nothing wrong in academics.
Okay.
but you say...
I just want to...
Yes, but because some other person will tell you, oh, there's Pidgin English.
Okay.
So that's why we are academics, because we have the right to argue.
Okay.
But today, I know that English has been detached from pidgin.
So it should just be seen as
You just say pidgin.
Okay.
Pidgin or Niger.
Or Niger. But regarding pidgin, there is an advocate, or some people are advocating that, it should be made a national language. What do you think to that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think we all speak pidgin. If it's made but the idea is that pidgin is easy for people to comprehend.
Okay.
I don't think it will be too difficult but you actually still need a little education to comprehend pidgin. Mm-hmm. So in a way, if pidgin is made a national language, that means everybody will be compelled to know it, to speak it. But I don't even know if there's ever going to be that day. I don't think so. But I'm still no God.
But what happens to our to Yoruba, the national languages that we have? I mean, I don't know if I'm right to call them national languages. The languages that we speak in Nigeria, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and all of that. Why can't the government consider these languages as national languages? In Canada, we have more than one national language. In South Africa.
But do you know? Have you ever thought about this?
Okay.
I don't think I know any other country in the whole world with as many languages as Nigeria.
Okay.
And I think it's one of the problems we have. Language is key. It's very important, even to the survival of a nation. Where we are today in Nigeria, that things seems not to be going well. I will still take it back to language. Everybody is keen about their language. We are keen about our tribesmen. We are keen about this. Too many languages in Nigeria. So for one to be chosen as a national language is going to cause problem.
Okay.
If Igbo is spoken, I carried out a research, but that was a long time ago, I think 2000 or so, or 2001. I carried out a research trying to find out about language chauvinism.
Okay.
To know who would say, okay, I prefer another language to be the national language in Nigeria. And I discovered that the Igbos felt Igbo should be. The Yorubas felt most Yorubas felt they were cool with English in the research, yes. And the Hausas feel it should be Hausa. And if you look at it very well, today majority of the people feel Hausa should be the national language. And I think the reason they feel so is because of I don't know, but I think because they've dominated in terms of governance. And in a way, people feel, maybe they would do better. But for me, I don't think we ever leave English.
Yes, I am not saying that. Of course, English can be an official language.
Okay.
But I think we can start by experimenting with maybe the three major languages that
you did this experiment in schools. Did it work? This experiment was carried out in schools. At a particular time, children who are Yoruba were supposed to learn either Igbo or Hausa. Hausa were supposed to learn Yoruba or Igbo. Just three major languages. And yet, it never worked.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot to language issue in Nigeria that I don't know because we have too many languages. We can't even continue to forget those we don't call the minorities anymore. I'm trying to remember what they're called now because all these languages, all these speakers who we think are non-existent but are existent. You understand? So in a way, I think the language situation in Nigeria is, in fact, sometimes I think probably this was where the Tower of Babel was built.
Okay.
So I think.
But in your opinion, to solve this problem, what will you suggest? Are you going to say that we should be comfortable with English and forget all these other languages, or possibly yes, English as official language? And I don't know, what do you think we should just be comfortable with English and forget other languages? We should
develop our local languages.
Okay.
But I don't see this prospect of a national language.
National language.
Because there will be arguments and arguments and arguments.
Do we have national language?
Right now?
Yes.
I don't think so.
But we have official language.
There's the English is
which
the official
English,
language, yes.
But we don't have a national language.
I don't think so.
And so to have national language, it's not realistic.
I think we will continue to make do with our lingua franca.
Okay, I think we can leave that and move on to another question. In your opinion, are we doing enough to preserve and study Nigerian languages?
We are not. I'm very worried about Nigerian languages. People talk about language endangerment. And of course, I know that Nigerian languages can't all perish like that. Because we have, up to today, I don't think we are more literate people in Nigeria than illiterates. I don't have the figures. But I think we still have a lot of people who are not schooled. And there's a language they speak. It's their indigenous languages. But one fact is that we need to promote our local languages. We made a lot of mistakes in the past. Thinking, referring to our local languages as vernacular was a great thing. Thinking English should be the only language to learn. Because a child can actually learn as many languages as possible. In fact, the more the number, let your children learn English, let them learn the local languages, let them be good in Italian, let them learn French, because the more the languages a child, the better the opportunities, or the more the opportunities that will be opened up to this child. So it's good to allow your children learn as many languages and don't allow your children not learn your local language. Let them know how to use. Because if you're talking about science today, and people there's somebody on TikTok who, I think the man is based in the US. He's always talking about the sciences, the terminologies, and stuff like that. One thing I discovered is, even for me, at my age, most of the things he would mention, despite the fact that I think I must try linguistics and English, it will be difficult for me to pick it quickly. And I'm a Yoruba person. I speak Yoruba. You understand what I'm saying? So we need, even as parents, we need to work on ourselves so that our children will understand our local languages, and it will make the learning of even the sciences easier for them. Because the problem we have in Nigeria is we have children who speak English, but they don't actually speak standard English. And these children will pretend they don't speak the local languages. And so in a way, they are stranded. That's the way I see it. Because it's not as if the English is super good. And then it's not as if, it's not also, they can't even speak the local languages. I don't think it's the best for the children. So you should speak both English and your local languages to the Nigerian children.
You do not believe that, particularly Yoruba, can go into extinction? You do not believe that?
I don't think so.
All right, but can it relocate? Because we now have foreigners coming to, to learn Yoruba land, to learn it. Do you think it can relocate? It can get to a stage where
it has relocated already. A lot of, even in the US, when I was in the US, I was approached to teach Yoruba. To teach Yoruba to some people. So the fact is that, and there are cities across the world where Yoruba is spoken, even though in its bastardized, let me just put it in this, I won't call it bastardized, I will call it in its affected forms, but it's still Yoruba. You understand? So when people send in China, last year I think they were all here to learn Yoruba from China. So
Brazil,
from different countries, they come here. Even Brazil, they speak Yoruba relatively in Brazil. Some descendants of the Negroes there back then speak Yoruba. But the point is, the Yoruba is so, you won't even know it's Yoruba. Even when they sing Yoruba songs, it won't be easy for you to comprehend. So the fact is that we should not allow our languages to go into extinction. I don't think Yoruba will go into extinction, because even now, there is some kind of renaissance. It's quiet. It's not really like people are going out and saying, we have to start speaking Yoruba. But when you go online, you will see people, even people who live in the US, teaching their children Yoruba and bringing it to the public space. So in a way, I think people are picking. This generation is fantastic, I must tell you, because they seem to be bringing back a lot of things that we have lost. So I have a feeling that things will get better.
As a woman in academia, what does it take to succeed?
Diligence, commitment, focus. Those are the things. Diligence, commitment, focus, those things will help you to succeed, because I've always said this. I have had students who are very brilliant. I've known people who are very brilliant, who are in academics and not doing very well. You know, because your brilliance will not write your papers. Your brilliance will not carry out your research. Your brilliance will, you understand? Mm-hmm. So you need to combine your intelligence with diligence to be a good academic.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your teaching philosophy?
My teaching philosophy is to see the best in my students. I'm a trained teacher. I don't know if I told you that. I'm a trained teacher. I'm astride about 3 different areas.
Okay.
My first degree was in education.
Okay.
My
English education?
Yes.
Okay.
English education. My second degree.
Where is that? In UI?
University of Ilorin.
Okay.
My second degree was in Ibadan here.
University of Ibadan. Okay.
Masters in the Faculty of Arts in English.
Okay.
And then my PhD is in linguistics.
Oh.
Is in linguistics. So, and the training I have in education, it hasn't left me. It hasn't left me. It's still with me. I want to teach my students to know it. I want them to, for every student that fails my course, I ask myself the question if I did well. Yes, I ask myself the question if I did well. Because if, as a teacher, you have many students failing your course, you need to ask yourself that question. Am I doing well? Because your students are not, your target should not be to fail your students. It's for them to know it so that they can pass. Because the idea of actually certification is to confirm that they know it. And so I think my philosophy is to see the best in my students, to see my students perform well. That's my philosophy.
What are your thoughts on the state of education in Nigeria?
I think we could do better.
Okay.
Yes, I think things aren't even as good as they used to be anymore. The environment is no longer conducive for learning.
How?
We thought, well, in the classrooms, the faculties, I'm talking about where I teach right now, where we are, the environment, the students, because even the students, are they comfortable? Are they eating well? Are they okay? Are they living in good hostels? All these things will make a conducive environment for learning. You understand? And for me as a teacher, am I comfortable in the classroom? Do I have all the facilities I need? If I need a lab, do I have a working lab? All this would be part of the things to consider when you're talking about the state of education. So, and looking at things the way they are presently, I think we could do better. Yes.
What about the condition of service for lecturers?
I think it could be better too.
Okay.
I think it could be better. I said it the other time. Okay. The remuneration is not encouraging, except you have that conscience that is very strong. You might not be focused. You might be thinking of other things that could feed your family. Because if you get a salary and it's not feeding your family, would you then say, because I want to be good on this job, and then you let your family go without feeding? So in a way, I think there should be consideration for good remuneration for people, for teachers generally, even from the primary. Teachers are the worst hit in this country when it comes to poor payments. That's the way I look at it. On
the last note, what advice will you give to your young scholars in the academia?
As I said before, be diligent, be focused, be prayerful, because you also need prayers. People want to be diligent and they fall ill, and they can't do anything anymore. Or they want to be diligent and they don't have access to the things that they need. So that's why where the place of God is important. So be prayerful if you believe in God. Be diligent as a human being. You can't be perfect, but just try your best. keep striving for the best. And always make sure that you affect, if you're a scholar, especially if you're an academic, affect the people you teach.
Affect the people you
Yes,
teach.
positively. Positively. Let them be. Let them go, or let them leave, because we send them out in batches. But let them leave with that kind of mind that you tried your best for them.
For them.
So I'm not talking about leniency in terms of, you pass all of them,
yes,
or you do this, but make sure that you try to encourage them, try to lift them up, try your best.
If you were to see Mr. President today and the Minister of Education, what will you tell them concerning Nigerian education? And I also want you to say one or two things to the younger ones out there.
Well, if I was to see the minister, I was to see the president, the Minister of Education. Is it junior or?
All of them.
Both of them. If I was to see them,
yes,
I'll tell them we should focus on developing the educational system of Nigeria.
Okay.
Revamping. Let me even start with revamping.
Okay.
Because developing is like, it's got to a stage. But revamping is like, this thing had gone really bad. And let's even bring it back to where it used to be. Then from there we can push forward. Because a lot of things,
have gone wrong.
Yes. The students, put students in good environment to learn. Encourage workers. Let them feel, because if somebody comes to work looking sad, looking depressed, I don't know, that person can never give the best. So if government focuses on, and the educational system determines what happens in a country. That's the mistake we make around here. And all those developed countries, they sort of get their
education.
From
right.
education.
Yeah.
All these studies, all this research, the research we carry out, and we live on these tables. They're supposed to be going somewhere where they are being used to develop the country. That's even one. So there's the total break, like, a partition between the government and the academic. The academic. There must be, okay, look at it. Nigeria, we're talking about Nigerian English. It's not standard. Nigerian English is not standard. Some people say, Nigerian English is standard. The government needs to have an academy. There should be an academy where all the studies people like us had carried out will be documented. And then that's at the point at which the government can say, we have decided to standardize Nigerian English. And that has happened in India and in some other places. So I think the government has to make sure that even the studies we carry out here, that they're useful, because the town and the gown must meet. If they don't meet, no progress.
Well, Professor Adenike Akinjobi, it is nice being with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
I'm glad to be here too.
I just gave you a call and said, yes, we could do it, and now we've done it. This is the end of this conversation. But let me appeal to you that please follow us, share this video, comment. Until we come your way again, it is bye.